It feels like we're living with this kind of magic, right? A technology that just seems to get us to know what we want. But how in the world is that even possible? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how AI actually learns.
Think about it. It recognizes your face in a picture. Instantly.
It understands what you're saying, translates your voice perfectly.
And then there's the really spooky stuff, like how it knows exactly what you're going to want to watch next.
I mean, it all feels so, well, human. So the big question is, how does it actually learn all this?
Okay, so here's the secret. This is the big twist that changes everything. Because unlike you, unlike me, AI doesn't think. It's not conscious. It doesn't have feelings. And this really gets to the heart of it. See, for us humans, it's all about understanding, meaning, consciousness, emotion. But AI, it's playing a totally different game. It lives in a world of pattern recognition, data, probability, and just pure calculation. It's not thinking, it's processing. So, okay, how does that actually work? Let's take a simple example. Imagine you want to teach an AI to recognize a cat. You don't sit it down and explain whiskers and fur. No, you feed it a crazy amount of data, like 1 million photos that are all labeled cat. Then the AI gets to work. It starts analyzing every single pixel, looking for tiny repeating patterns, the curve of an ear, the specific texture of fur, the distance between the eyes. From all that, it builds its own mathematical model, basically its own statistical definition of what a cat looks like. So when you show it a new picture, it isn't thinking, oh, that's a cat. It's just calculating, hey, this new image matches my cat pattern with a 99.7% probability. That's it.
Now, the engine that makes all this happen is something called a neural network. And yeah, the name sounds fancy because it's inspired by our own brains, but it's not a copy. The most important thing to get here is the idea of layers. Just think of it like a super smart filter for information with multiple levels.
And this is how those layers work, step by step. The first layer might only see really basic stuff, like simple lines and edges. But then the next layer takes those lines and edges and starts to see how they form bigger patterns, like an eye or an ear. And then the final layer puts it all together and makes a decision. Okay, I see eyes plus ears plus whiskers. Yep, that matches my cat model. It's building up this complex picture, one simple layer at a time.
But how does it get so incredibly accurate? Well, it's all about trial and error, over and over and over again. It makes a guess. If it gets it wrong, it gets a little bit of feedback and adjusts its internal patterns, just a tiny, tiny bit. Then it tries again. Now, just imagine that process repeating millions or even billions of times. Every single mistake makes it just a fraction of a percent smarter, constantly getting better at matching those patterns.
And look, this isn't some sci-fi thing from the future. You're using this stuff every single day. That YouTube video that popped up in your feed, that's the AI matching your viewing pattern to millions of other people. Your phone unlocking just by looking at it? Pure facial pattern recognition. Even when your navigation app tells you there's a traffic jam ahead, that's just an AI recognizing data patterns that in the past have always led to a big slowdown.
So, here's the real takeaway, the bottom line. AI isn't intelligent in the way that we are. It doesn't feel anything. It doesn't actually understand what a cat is. Its incredible, almost magical power comes from one simple thing: its ability to find patterns in massive, massive amounts of data, way faster than any human could ever hope to. Look, artificial intelligence is getting more powerful every single day. But here's the thing to remember. It's not because it's becoming human. It's because it's becoming better and faster and more unbelievably efficient at recognizing patterns. And in a world that is completely built on data, you gotta ask yourself, what could possibly be more powerful than that?